Did you ever buy hamburger rolls that weren't cut? That happened to me once in Nebraska. I just grabbed a pack, didn't really look at them, and when I got home, I was wondering why nothing was happening when I was trying to take the top off. Today, poker stats by month. I remember in Council Bluffs on the golf course, I gave you the stats by day. Like this was my lifetime poker on Mondays, on Tuesdays, etc. Today, by month. All right, let's get right into it. Most hours for one of the calendar months in my life, June, 1,367.67 hours. A little bit of a surprise because I feel like June and July have been very similar. You know, when I lived in Vegas in 2015 and 16, and then during law school, I would just go crazy with hours, like mostly May and August, but of course, June and July, like definitely no finals. Finals might have spilled over into May, semester might have started at the end of August, but June and July were the big months. So they were pretty even when I think back, and July has a bit of an edge because I didn't start playing until July 4th weekend in Wisconsin. That was the first time I ever played at Potawatomi. So in July 2013, I didn't play at all in June, but did play in July. But somehow, over the years, June has won. Best hourly is August, $20.21 per hour for every August session of my life. That's a little surprising. For one, it's tough to kind of gauge hourly. It's easy to gauge, you know, some huge weeks and huge months I've had, total profit. It's also easy to gauge hours. Like I know the handful of most hours, I know the handful of least hours, calendar months. But hourly, for one, is tough to gauge. And for the 2 years I lived in Vegas, that was like the really dead time. After the World Series of Poker was done, there just weren't a lot of games. Felt like the games weren't that great, the ones that were happening, but somehow $20.21 in August, lifetime. Most profit in 1 month is January, $19,508 in January. I could see that. I had some real killer summer months, but those were probably canceled out by the 2015-2016 World Series of Poker times that I was not enjoying. January, you know, winter break during law school. A lot of people have some time off around the holidays. It's also very cold in Wisconsin and the Omaha area, so you have a lot of people with no outdoor activities to do. And there was also 1 year I made a strong push to play a lot more hours than I had the year before, and that started off in January with a lot of like real focused hours. So I could see January being the leader in this category. The worst of all three of those categories is the same month, which is funny, December. I'll put everything up on the screen. I know the hourly is like 4 and change. I know the total money is about 1,700, and that makes the total hours like under 500 hours. It's like that because I'm always going back to New York for the holidays. So in Vegas, I flew back to New York. In law school, I flew back to New York. Last year and this year, I drove back to New York. So that's why there's not many hours. I understand December is definitely the least amount of hours. Last year, there were none. The World Series of Poker started in October. That's when I left Vegas, and I did play Council Bluffs and Atlantic City a little bit through November, and did not play at all in January 2021. None of that means it necessarily needs to be the worst hourly, but it is somehow. And to finish, some group stats. So how many months do I have an hourly above $17.50 per hour? The answer is 4 months. I'm pulling that off. How many months do I have more than 1,100 hours played? The answer also 4 months. And how many months have I had profits greater than $18,000? The answer is 3 months. So there are some of my stats separated by month, which I can do in large part thanks to Excel, and therefore thanks to Microsoft.
Yeah, I got it at the stadium in May.